The question was simple, almost fragile, yet it landed like a thunderclap in the quiet daytime cafeteria. A one-legged soldier stood beside a small metal table, sunlight spilling through wide windows, her uniform neatly pressed, her balance steady on a worn prosthetic. When she asked if she could share the table with the janitor already sitting there, something in the air shifted, as if the room itself held its breath, waiting for an answer that would echo far beyond that moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and quiet miracles that happen between strangers, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Life Spark Stories. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Her name was Marin Holt, and she had learned to carry silence the way others carried scars. The loss of her leg had come 2 years earlier during a mission that still replayed in her dreams in fragments of sound and dust. Since returning home, she moved through the world carefully, aware of eyes that followed her limp, of whispers that praised her courage while never quite seeing her as whole. That afternoon, she had chosen the public service building cafeteria because it was bright, open, and ordinary. Ordinary places felt safer now. Still, every step reminded her of what had been taken, and every pause reminded her of how much strength it required just to keep moving. The janitor was named Elias Crow, though few people ever bothered to ask. He spent his days polishing floors and emptying bins, blending into the background like the hum of the building itself. His hands were rough, his uniform faded, and his lunch was always the same simple meal packed at dawn before work. People often passed him without noticing, or worse, noticed him only enough to look away. He had learned not to expect much from anyone, least of all respect. When Marin stood there, sunlight outlining her figure and the metal curve of her prosthetic catching the light, Elias felt the familiar tightening in his chest that came whenever someone acknowledged his presence. What Marin didn't know was that Elias carried his own quiet war. Years earlier, he had been a search and rescue volunteer, working alongside emergency crews after floods and fires. One mistake, one delayed call during a factory collapse had cost lives. The weight of that day had never lifted. The uniform had been taken, the trust stripped away, and he had accepted a life where he could at least clean what others dirtied, fix what small things he could. Guilt had made him small, and invisibility felt like punishment he deserved. As they sat together under the bright midday light, two lives heavy with unspoken pain shared the same narrow table. Marin noticed how Elias straightened, not with pride but with a careful dignity, as if he wanted to make sure he didn't take up too much space. She felt something unexpected then, not pity but recognition. Loss spoke a language she understood fluently. It lived in posture, in pauses, in the way people avoided mirrors. The answer Elias gave her stunned her, not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it was honest in a way she hadn't heard in a long time. He made it clear, without flourish or apology, that the table did not belong to him any more than it belonged to her, and that sharing space was the only way either of them ever got through the day. In that moment, Marin felt a knot inside her loosen. She had come expecting rejection or forced politeness. Instead, she found equality. They ate quietly, surrounded by the soft sounds of daytime activity, trays clinking, footsteps echoing, sunlight moving slowly across the floor. Something shifted inside both of them. For Marin, the world felt less divided between the strong and the broken. For Elias, the shame he carried felt lighter, as if someone had finally sat beside him without judgment. Two strangers, neither fixed nor saved, simply seen. As weeks passed, that table became a meeting point. Not because they needed each other, but because choosing to sit together reminded them they still belonged to the world. Marin began volunteering at a rehabilitation center, inspired by the quiet resilience she recognized in Elias. Elias applied to train as a safety coordinator, believing for the first time that redemption didn't require perfection, only effort. If this story touched your heart, stirred something deep inside, or reminded you of the power of simple human connection, please take a moment to engage with this video. Your likes, shares, and comments help stories like this reach someone who may need them today. Special request: Please comment below and share what kindness means to you, or a moment when a stranger changed your day.